Hey, testing, testing. Want to make sure that I am live. Sometimes I'll go live and like it just doesn't either work the way that I expect it to. So I just want to make sure I'm live. If you see that I'm live, put a 0 down inside of the chat below, just so I know that I'm live and I can, get started and I can go and attack some of the stuff. So starting to see some zeros down in the chat. So cool. So today's video is basically about how our mentorship student added about $4,500 per month. She had one referral part of this and her 5 clients in the last like week and a half. So I want to kind of break down like, number one, how do you go and get partners? Number two, how do you identify who's a good partner? What do you do to actually stay in front of them so they actually like want to send you people? Then how to make sure they actually start sending you the right kind of clients, and how to optimize the clients they're sending over time so that you get better and better and better quality clients each time. Now, for me, when I got started, I did not really understand that people were willing to help. I thought that everyone was kind of like for themselves. Like kind of like when you're in the corporate space, you just kind of see everyone as like your competition. And I carried that same energy into my business. So what would happen was, and this is kind of my fault because like when I first got started, I like went to this like networking event and like there was this like CPA guy there, and I was like, hey, maybe you can show me how to grow my business, and like maybe you can teach because I'm doing like bookkeeping and doing CPA services, and the guy kind of gave me the cold shoulder, and I was like, oh, I didn't really like the way that that felt. So what that caused me to do was I was just super irritated, super irritated. So I didn't even want to talk to the person. I was like, don't talk to me. And I just felt that everyone didn't really want to help, right? But as I started getting more and more successful in business, people started coming out of the woodworks and be like, hey, I really appreciate some of the stuff you're doing. How can I help you? Or I actually had my next door neighbor start giving me referrals. She is a she's a teacher, but she works with like therapists. Like there's like a network of therapists. So she referred me to a therapist. That therapist referred me to another person, and I kept getting referrals and referrals like that. So I figured out, oh wait, so if I can just figure out a way to get the right type of people who like me, they want to send me referrals and they want to help me grow my business, I can grow exponentially faster because I don't have to put in quite as much energy as what I do like if I'm using like social media and stuff like that. So that's how I learned how to do that, and it was just very interesting. So I want to kind of break down some of the stuff that's worked for me and specifically what worked for that student. Now, if you want some help growing your business, like maybe you just don't know what you don't know and you feel that you want to be able to avoid a lot of mistakes that cause most people to fail. If that's you, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with myself to see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program. Okay, so let's go and attack this thing. So, number one, you have to start thinking like a business owner. Now, I don't mean this like an offensive way when I say like you have to start thinking like a business owner. A lot of people when we first get started, we're kind of in like survival mode. So it's like you're just trying to get a client like as fast as possible. Like, how do I get my first client? How do I get my second client? And it usually is a very linear process. So you talk to one person, you maybe get a client. You talk to 10 people, you get one client. You talk to 100 people, you get 10 clients, right? It's very linear. But whenever you want to start growing faster, you need to start thinking about exponential growth, where 1 unit of energy can produce 2 results, or 2 units of energy produces four, or four turning into eight, right? So it's like you're always getting more out than what you're putting in. Now, that might sound kind of like counterintuitive. It's like, well, Bryce, I thought I wanted to work hard. It's great to work hard, but if you work hard in the right things, you're going to grow exponentially faster. So number one, business owners are always using leverage. So there's four main types of leverage. There's labor, there's capital, that means like money, there's media, and there's technology, right? So when we're first getting started, the two that are going to be the best one for you are going to be other people and then platforms. Now, when I say platform, that's generally going to be like the media component. When I say people, that's more of like labor, but it's not going to be labor in the way that most people think. Like we're not going to be having them like working for us in the sense of them doing the accounting work for us. That's how most people think about labor. I'm actually going to be having them more as like my marketing department as well as my sales department, which is just getting other people who have connections to business owners to start sending me high quality leads. So we'll start with there. So number one, whenever I'm thinking about a platform, I'm thinking about like what is a platform that I can utilize that will allow me to understand who is my target market. In this case, it can be referral partners. But then also, how can I get in contact with them? So some platforms will be a lot easier than others. So some good platforms are going to be like Facebook or like LinkedIn when it comes to this. Now, I prefer to use LinkedIn in most cases, but Facebook is also a good one. But it's just Facebook is a little bit trickier for most people, right? Now, when I say tricky, it's just it's hard to understand who you are actually speaking to. So you have to do things to get the right people to raise their hand, and then you can friend request them. Then you can start like moving them down the conversation line. Versus like LinkedIn, it's a little bit more overwhelming to kind of look at if you've never used it before. But once you understand how to use it, it gives you a better introduction to the person you're speaking to so that you know without a shadow of a doubt that this person is someone who can help you out. So that's why I always talk about like LinkedIn versus like Facebook. It's not that they're inherently better or worse than the other. It's just how do you like to use them and like what are your strengths and your weaknesses. So my strength and weakness is more about like the messenger conversation after someone knows I exist versus some people like they're not very good at that. So they just need to go and get as many people as possible. And that's what like Facebook will be better at. But I tend to do things at more of like a low volume, kind of like more precise amount rather than just having like shotgun everything against the wall and just kind of see what sticks. So number one, platforms. Now, once you have the platforms, it's all about choosing the right types of people. So one thing that's going to be very helpful is for you to start looking through your potential referral partners networks. They have a lot of business owners that can actually like be good clients. If let's say that they are like let's say they're a lawyer but they're helping people with like business startup services, like maybe them filing their LLC, or maybe them just getting some initial contracts. And all the business owners that you see inside of their network are like under a year old. If you're trying to get clients that can pay you like $2,000 a month, that's probably not the right type of person to go for because they're not going to have the size clients that can afford to pay that. Like a startup business is generally in a lot of cases not going to pay you, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. They're gonna be more of like the $100 to $400 a month range. So you have to like look at the referral partners that are going to do that. Now, a very simple way to do that and like look at someone's network. Let's say you're on LinkedIn, right? So we're using platform of LinkedIn. Now we're going to go and start looking for partners. And like we said, we're looking at lawyers. When you friend request a lawyer and they accept your friend request, generally a light blue button will come up next to their name that says like contact list. You click on the contact list and it shows you a list of all their contacts. From there, you're just searching through like the profiles to kind of see a trend. Like you don't need to look at every single one of their like connections, but I'm looking for trends. If I see that the average business owner who's in their network is going to be like 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, or if I can see like the revenue, if I see like they're 500K a year, a million a year, $2 million a year, then I know that's a good partner to start going after, and I know that's a person that if they can send me leads, those leads can actually afford to pay because they're actually in a really good position, a really good spot. Okay, so that's number one. Now, if you understand number one, put a one down inside the chat. Or if you don't, I can like reiterate it slightly differently just in case. Because I know sometimes I'll explain things, but it's not like super, super clear. And I know everyone thinks slightly differently. So if you have any questions, like post it down inside the chat. And I can be able to like answer those questions. Now, let's assume that everyone's kind of where we are right now. Number two, you need a way to educate your partners and stay in front of them. So for this particular case, this partner was actually an insurance agent. The one who sent the 5 clients was an insurance agent. So you need to figure out a way to stay in front of your potential partners and actually educate them on why they should be sending clients to them. So I see John Cole Jones. Hey, good to see you, man. I see you on Facebook. I also see Delma. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a little while, Delma. Good to see you guys. Hopefully you're doing well. I know like right now, depending on where you are in the United States, we're having a lot of like, kind of bad weather. So hopefully you guys are, safe wherever you guys are. But the hardest part that you guys are gonna really find is like making sure that people don't forget about you. So it's very easy for someone to be like, talk to you, be gun ho about sending you referrals, but then all of a sudden they forget about you just because they're busy with their life. So you need to have a really strong way to stay in front of them. So number one, after like the initial call that you do with them, and like if you don't know what to say to get someone to want to do a referral partnership call with you, like in our program we do offer you like scripts of like what to say. But let's say that you've already done it. So now you've done this call, they've agreed to go and give you referrals. Okay, most times what's going to happen is nothing unless you know how to make sure that you're staying in front of them. If you're not staying in front of them, they're generally going to forget about you. Now, in some cases they won't, but that's generally going to be like the minority of the time. So you want to make sure you can stay in front of them. So there are two main ways that you can do this. So we'll talk about the first way, which is value content. So One mistake that people have is that they want to make content that looks good, but is not very valuable and is not very effective. So they'll go on Canva, they'll like make posts like 10 reasons why you need a bookkeeper, or like hire a bookkeeper today, or it's like October, I'll give you 10% off my bookkeeping services, or hire me as a bookkeeper, or they'll say like one thing like, streamline your operations with the bookkeeper, hire me. Like that's not impactful enough. No one's really going to like look at that on a consistent basis and then on average sign up with you. You have to have depth in the content. Now, the way I learned this was the first time I learned this was I was speaking at an event in my local SBDC. It's like the Small Business Development Center in my local area. They had like it was like just a little event for like new business owners that were like trying to like learn aspects about their business. And the speech I gave was like 10 reasons why you should have like a accountant or bookkeeper. Now, when I did this, it had to have value inside because I was actually speaking on stage. The presentation lasted like 20, 25 minutes long. But I basically had to like talk in detail and I had to answer questions while I was live. So like every time I would do like, okay, point number one, do you guys have any questions? They would ask questions. Okay, we answer the questions. Then point number two, okay, do you guys have any questions? Point number three. So like I had to literally like answer the questions and the misconceptions people had there. But the cool thing was I was actually recording that. So what I did was afterwards, the organizer posted on Facebook and they're like, hey, Bryce just gave this presentation. Thanks so much for coming. And I shared it to my profile. And then people like who are already like friends with me asked me like send them a copy. So I did two things. So I sent them like a video copy, I sent them a written copy. The ones that were like the written copy, I had like one person like share the written one like on their Facebook profile. And then what happened was people started like liking and commenting, asking, oh cool, thanks. This is really good. I like it. Bryce, maybe reach out to me, Bryce. So I would like literally reach out to them and just get in front of them. And like I was a little bit annoyed at first because like a lot of the people that were commenting weren't good potential partners. Like they just were not really sorry, not good. They were not good potential clients. At that time, I wasn't really thinking like a business owner. I was still thinking like hunter, right? It was like, okay, I gotta get one client, gotta get this client, gotta get this client. So in the beginning, when I saw those comments, I actually overlooked it. I was like, that's annoying. Like next, ignore them. Next. And then one of the people that from like the guide actually reached out to me directly and was like, hey, I saw your post. I really like what you have to talk about. Do you work with like people from this industry? And I was like, oh yeah, I definitely do. I would definitely like, potentially in the future, like work with more of them. I don't really have them as that many clients, but do have experience in that industry. And the person's like, oh, hey, cool. I have someone I'm thinking about. Maybe I can like connect you. I was like, oh, okay. So by having that piece of value content that actually got the partner to be like, oh, this person knows what they're doing and they can help this kind of other person out. So what I started doing is I started making more and more content pieces like that. Now, if you're just getting started in business, you don't necessarily have to do that. Like it's not like necessary for you to do that. But if you're ever gonna get past like, maybe like 5 grand a month, 10 grand a month, I mean like you're really shooting for like 15, 20 grand a month, like this is the stuff that will actually start building that up for you. It's the goodwill that you kind of put out into the market where it's like you're not necessarily getting anything in return on the surface, but everyone kind of knows who you are now. Everyone kind of knows what you can offer them, and they're willing to help you out because you were like adding value for free. I know it's a very weird concept. Like, trust me, like if you're watching this, you're like, Bryce, that sounds so stupid. Why would I ever like make something and like put an hour's worth of like writing into a post where I might never get money back from it? Like, why would I do that? I understand. I said the exact same thing. Like I had coaches, I would literally would work with like business coaches for like years before I was successful, and like they would tell me, yeah, just write content. I was like, why did I write content? I'm not gonna get a client from it, right? No, but it's like it's about goodwill, it's about like putting yourself out there so people can actually see you. I'm like, that's stupid. And like I resisted doing that for so long. And again, the only reason why I started doing that was literally because the event coordinator posted the video of me there and people asked for it. It's like that's the only reason I like fell into this, right? But it's like I'm a kind of person where if I see something's working, I go as hard as I possibly can in that area to make sure I can replicate the results as much as possible, right? So it's just all about that. Now, let's say you have the content in front of it, and even before that, if you don't know how to make good value content, I actually have a video on my YouTube channel that's titled it's like value content, like how to actually make posts that convert people into working with you. If you're watching inside of my school group, it should be inside of the classroom section. If you're on the YouTube channel, you can literally just type in like content, and like there'll be like all the past videos I've made about like content, like how to make it. If you're not very good at writing, you can always use like ChatGPT to like make a good first draft, and then you just add the human elements and like your experience inside of it. So I'm not going to go into huge details. I do have to get going in about 7 minutes. Um, but you can definitely like that is how you stay in front of partners and like they actually remember you exist. Now, the third thing you should be doing, this is the second way that we stay in front of partners, is a 15-day messaging sequence. So every 15 days, I want to be talking to the referral partners. Now, there's a right way to do this and a wrong way to do this. Okay, we want to make sure we're doing the right way. The wrong way to do this is every day you're asking, hey, do you have a referral for me? Hey, can you please give me something? Hey, do you have this? Hey, we talked here. Do you remember me? Like, you don't want to do that. You want to be able to continue the conversation and just assume that they're actually going to send leads to you. It's just they either do not trust you that much, they don't have leads right now to send you, or they just, maybe there could be a million different reasons why, right? So the first thing is when you're doing your consultation call with a potential referral partner, you need to have conversation angles and avenues that you start talking with that get people to actually like tell you about their personal life, right? Because then you can keep up to date with them on their personal life, so that's staying in their face without necessarily asking for them to give you something. And some people are like, well, why would I want to like learn more about someone if I just want to like get clients or get money from them? It's like, okay, what does it matter what you want to get from them? The fact that you're actually doing it, that's all that matters. Like, like it's kind of like dating. You know what I mean? It's like depending on your beliefs and like your religion, it's like let's say that you're depending on like what the audience. I don't know how old the people watching are. Okay, you're gonna kiss somebody. It's like if the only reason you want to talk to someone is because you want to kiss them. Okay, that's bad. But in a lot of cases, like kissing someone is an element of dating them. That's one aspect of it. It's not the only reason why you're gonna be talking to that person, right? The same thing in business. Okay, getting money from someone or getting a referral from someone is one aspect of the relationship. It's not all the aspects. They could invite you to an event. They could invite you to speak someplace. You could invite them to speak someplace. You could give them a referral. You could give them a client. You could, give them like a gift card on the holidays. It's just one element of this is understand who they are as a person, what they like, and then naturally give you clients as a result, right? So in that conversation, understand who they are. What do they like to do? Who do they like to spend time with? Do they have a family? Do they have kids? And literally write down very meticulous notes about their life so that when you're following up these people every 15 days, you can ask some question about life. So for example, if you know that they're like a sports gambler, you can talk about, hey, how did that go with the game last night? Did you win or did you lose? Or who are you betting for this next time? Or what do you do to go and research to know like who are you picking? Or how long you been following sport? Like you can have endless topics around that main thing that you're going to be saying. Okay, I see Michael Billy's actually inside. Nice to see you, Michael. Man, it's been actually a long time since I've seen some of you guys. I talked to you guys a little bit in the past, but long time since I've seen you guys. So good to see you. Um, yeah, so that's one element. So the first 15 days is always going to be about like the personal life, right? Just take it away from the business, just take the pressure off them. After that, the second 15 days later, you need to contact them about some aspect of the deal. Like, hey, this is kind of referral partner I like doing. Hey, do you have any referral partners for me? Hey, how's business going for you? Hey, are you looking for this type of referral? So first 15 days, like that first message is about personal. Second 15 days can be about business. Now, if you don't know what to say specifically, I can like feed you guys lines. Like we feed our students lines inside of our mentorship program. So if you ever wanted to like learn more about that, you definitely can. I do have to get going right about now. So that's the three main steps that the student took. Number one, identifying who is the best possible referral partner with you to make sure that you're thinking like a business owner and starting to use leverage through platforms and through people. Second thing is you need to have a way to educate the potential referral partners so they actually feel good about sending leads to you, because if they don't, they're not going to send leads to you. They don't want to waste their time. They don't want to waste their clients' time. Third thing is just making sure you have a way to be able to message and stay in front of them that builds a relationship without necessarily extracting too much value and making them feel like you're just wanting to use them. Okay, so if you have all three of those things, then growing and getting clients is very, very simple. as you see inside of this business. I see someone said, good to see you. Good to see you, man. Santhia, I think you're in India, so good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thanks for, I know it might be late for you watching right now, but good to see you. So if you guys want some help growing your business, like maybe you've been trying to grow your business, but it's just not quite going the way you want it, or maybe it's like you feel that you just want to avoid a lot of mistakes that cause people to fail, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with myself to see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program. Okay? I can't help everybody. We do have like a very strict limit of about 10 people max per month that we take on. And I'm not trying to be like mean or like turn people away. It's just more of like I wanted to make sure that I can provide as much support as possible for the people that need help. And I want to make sure that I could be involved in your results and your success, right? I see like there's a lot of these like programs online. They have like thousands and thousands of people joining them every single week, every single month. And I just didn't really want to build it like that, you know. I wanted to be able to have that, you know, personalized touch, be able to actually connect people, be able to make sure that we can provide them as great results as possible. So it does mean that I don't make quite as much money as some of those other programs, right? Like there's some people that make like millions of dollars a year from their programs. That's not what I do, right? I make good six figures from our program, but you know, it could be a lot bigger if I just didn't really care about results. So, you know, if you want some help and if you want to work with someone that's vested in your results and making sure that you can grow to wherever your goals are, go ahead and click your link inside the description below, book the call, and I'd love to see you there. Okay. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a